You've explained yourself to this person 5 times, and somehow you're still the one who ends up apologizing. You typed it out, deleted it, rewrote it softer so it couldn't be used against you, sent it, and 90 seconds later they came back with a sentence that took one line out of the middle and turned it into something you never said and never meant. So now you're writing paragraph 6, at 11 at night, to someone who is not reading it to understand you. Maybe it's a family member who brings up the same thing every holiday, a coworker who repeats your words back with a tone you didn't use, an ex, a friend who already told other people their version before you ever got to speak. And you keep going, because you're a decent person and you believe that if you could just find the right words, they'd finally see your heart. I want to talk about why mature believers eventually stop doing that. Not out of pride, not by going cold and silent, and not by writing people off. There's a real difference, and tonight I want you to be able to feel where the line is. Start with this, because everything depends on it. There is a difference between a misunderstanding and a decision. A misunderstanding gets fixed with information. You explain, they go, oh, and it's over in 4 minutes. If you're still in it after the 5th round, you're not dealing with a lack of information. You're dealing with a decision that was made about you before you opened your mouth, and you keep feeding facts into a problem that was never about facts. Proverbs says, a fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his own opinion. That's not name-calling, that's a description of a posture. Some conversations aren't searching for truth, they're gathering material. Jesus said something about this that most of us skip past because it sounds harsh. Don't give what is holy to dogs, and don't throw your pearls before swine, or they'll trample them and turn and attack you. He isn't licensing you to call people animals. He's saying something about value. Your motives, your private reasoning, the real story of why you did what you did, that's costly material. And there are people who will take it, step on it, and hand it back sharpened. So how do you tell which one you're in? Scripture gives you a clean test. Proverbs says, do not correct a scoffer, or he will hate you. Correct a wise man, and he will love you. Read that again. The difference between a wise person and a scoffer isn't intelligence, education, or even how nice they are. It's what they do when they're told something they don't want to hear. And there are signs you already recognize. They ask questions that aren't really questions. It has a question mark on the end, but it's a trap wearing one. Your words come back with a different shape. So what you're saying is, and then something you never said. The moment you get close to their behavior, the subject becomes your history. Every explanation you offer becomes a new item on the list against you. And here's the biggest one. You've had this exact conversation 3 times, and it resets to 0 every time. Nothing you established last month is still standing this month. If a conversation resets to 0 every time, it isn't a conversation. It's a loop. And loops don't end because you finally say it better. Now let me name what this is doing to you, because this is the part people underestimate. After enough rounds, you start editing your own memory. You replay the original event looking for what you must have done to deserve this. You lose sleep. You get short with people who never hurt you. And slowly a thought moves in. Maybe I really am the problem. Because who fights this hard to be understood if they're innocent? That's the actual danger. Not the argument. What the argument is quietly teaching you to believe about yourself. And spiritually, here's what's happening. You're handing the verdict on your life to someone who already wrote it. Paul dealt with a church that was picking him apart, and he wrote this. It is a very small thing that I should be judged by you or by any human court. It is the Lord who judges me. But look at the next line, because it protects him from arrogance. He says, I'm not aware of anything against myself, but that doesn't make me innocent. Paul isn't claiming to be above examination. He just moved the courtroom. He stopped standing trial in a room where the verdict was already written and took his case to a judge who actually knows him. That's what freedom looks like here. Not, I don't care what anyone thinks. That's pride with a Bible verse on it. It's, I already know where the real verdict comes from. And if silence sounds weak to you, look at how Jesus handled his trials, because it's stunning. Before the high priest, he was asked the direct question that actually mattered. Are you the Christ? He answered it plainly, and that answer is what got him killed. So he was not avoiding hard truth. Then he stood in front of Pilate while they piled up accusations, and Matthew says he gave him no answer, not even to a single charge, so that the governor was amazed. Not one word. Then Herod, who questioned him at length because he wanted a show, got nothing at all. Same night, same man, 3 completely different responses. That's not shutting down. That's discernment. He answered what was honest and let the theater run out of oxygen. And when a guard struck him, he did speak. He said, "If I've spoken wrongly, show me what was wrong. But if I spoke rightly, why did you hit me?" One clear sentence, no groveling, no explanation of his whole heart. Silence is a tool. It was never supposed to be your personality. There's one more picture I want you to have, and it's the most practical one in the Bible for this. Nehemiah is rebuilding the wall, and his enemies keep sending messengers asking him to come down and meet in the valley. 4 times. Same invitation. And Nehemiah sends back one sentence. "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down." Why should the work stop while I leave it and come down to you? The 5th time, they escalate to an open letter accusing him of plotting rebellion. Public, designed to force a response. And his entire reply is basically, "None of this is happening. You are inventing it out of your own mind." That's it. Then he prays, "God, strengthen my hands," and goes back to the wall. The wall was finished in 52 days. He never won that argument. He finished the wall. Those are not the same victory, and only one of them was ever available to him. So what does this actually look like for you this week? First, say it once, completely. Peter gives us the posture. When you answer, do it with gentleness and respect. So explain. Clearly, without sarcasm, the best version you have. Once. Second, close the loop out loud instead of just disappearing. This is what separates maturity from the silent treatment, and it matters. The silent treatment is punishment with no information. What you're doing is the opposite. Try something like, "I've told you what I meant, and I'm not going to keep re-arguing it. I'm not angry with you." Or, "We see this differently, and I can live with that." If it is safe and wise, keep the door open on the relationship, even while the debate closes. I'll still be there Sunday. You're not ending a person, you're ending a loop. Third, stay accountable while you do it. Paul told Timothy, "The Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but kind to everyone, correcting opponents with gentleness." So before you close anything, ask one person who loves you enough to disagree with you, is there anything real in what they're saying? If there is, own that part fast and specifically. Owning your 10% does not make their 90% true. It just keeps you honest. Fourth, check the motive underneath, because it's usually not what we think. Paul asked, "Am I seeking the approval of man or of God?" Sometimes we can't stop explaining because we love truth. And sometimes we can't stop because we cannot stand the thought of someone out there thinking badly of us. That second one is the hook the whole trap hangs on, and only you can find it. And give up the argument you keep winning in the shower. It has no audience. It never did. So how does the truth ever come out? Peter finishes that thought by saying, "Keep a good conscience, so that when you are slandered, the people who attack your behavior end up ashamed." Notice what does the work there. Not your paragraph, your life. Time is a better witness than you are, and it never gets tired, never gets defensive, and never says the wrong thing at midnight. The people who actually know you will weigh one accusation against years of your life, and your life will usually win. And the person who won't do that was never going to be reached by a better sentence anyway. One more thing, and I mean this gently. Some of these people are not villains. Some of them are frightened, or proud, or defending a wound you can't see. You can stop explaining without deciding someone is evil. You can hope they come around later, and pray for them tonight, and still not go down into the valley for the 5th meeting. Before you comment, notice something. If your instinct right now is to type out your whole situation and explain it to strangers, that's the same instinct we've been talking about. So do this instead. Comment the one sentence you're going to use this week to close the loop. Just the sentence. Say it once, say it kindly, then go finish your wall.